January 3rd, 2026. 0300 hours. While the world sleeps, the most complex mathematical equation in history is being solved in the dark. A high-value target is secured, but the extraction point is 80 miles away, guarded by the S-300, a missile system designed specifically to kill anything that flies. In naval warfare, this is called a denial zone, but for the US Navy, there is no such thing as a zone that cannot be opened. Welcome to Naval Tide. Today we are not just looking at ships and planes, we are looking at the system of systems. We are reverse engineering Operation Absolute Resolve. To get one helicopter out, you don't just send a pilot, you weaponize the entire electromagnetic spectrum. We are talking about 150 aircraft, a nuclear-powered supercarrier, and the manipulation of acoustic physics, all for a single 30-minute window of dominance. If you understand that the US Navy is the backbone of global stability, type USA in the comments right now. Let's run the numbers. We need to correct a definition. The media often talks about air superiority. They are wrong. That is Cold War thinking. That is a struggle for control. This operation was about air dominance. The difference isn't tactical, it is mathematical. Superiority means you fight to win. Dominance means the enemy cannot even solve the equation to fight back. They cannot calculate a probability of survival that justifies leaving the ground. When 150 machines move in perfect synchronization, the enemy faces a cognitive wall. They are not fighting a pilot, they are fighting an invincible architecture of power. At Naval Tide, we analyze the blueprint of this overmatch. To understand how we own the sky, you first have to understand the math of the night. Meet the anomaly that solves the equation, the F-22 Raptor. Why is it the undisputed ruler of the night? Physics dictates a trade-off. You can be stealthy or you can be agile. You cannot be both. The F-22 is a paradox. It is both. Let's look at the engineering. Most fighters turn using aerodynamic drag on their wings. The Raptor uses thrust vectoring. The nozzles on its twin Pratt and Whitney F119 engines don't just push forward, they pivot plus or minus 20 degrees. This allows the aircraft to execute post-stall maneuvers. It doesn't just fly, it manipulates gravity. It can point its nose at a target while flying in a completely different vector. Then there is the firepower. Look at the wings. They are clean. No missiles, no pylons. External weapons create drag and increase the radar cross-section. The Raptor hides its claws. 6 AIM-120D AMRAAMs and 2 Sidewinders are buried inside internal weapons bays. This eliminates the parasitic drag penalty, allowing the jet to supercruise, flying at Mach 1.8 without ever touching the afterburners. While the enemy is burning fuel just to keep up, the Raptor is coasting at supersonic speed with energy to spare. While the Raptor holds the ceiling, the EA-18G Growler rewrites the electromagnetic spectrum. Stealth hides you, but electronic warfare makes the enemy wish they were blind. When an S-300 battery activates its radar, it's not just looking for a target, it's screaming its location into the night. The Growler listens. Then it floods that specific frequency with structured noise. The commander on the ground faces a binary choice: turn off the radar and go blind, or keep transmitting and guide an anti-radiation missile directly to his own antenna. We don't just jam the network, we suffocate it. The enemy isn't fighting a jet, they are fighting a screen full of static and a heart full of fear. By the time they realize the signal is a lie, the extraction team is already gone. And beneath this invisible ceiling, the sledgehammer arrives from Texas. If the F-22 is a scalpel, the B-1B Lancer is a physics lesson in brute force. Why bring a strategic nuclear bomber to a helicopter escort mission? 2 words: variable geometry. Look at the wings. This is not cosmetic. It is aerodynamic engineering solving contradictory requirements in real time. When the B-1B needs to loiter, waiting like a patient vulture, the wings extend to 15 degrees for maximum lift. But when the extraction goes hot, the actuators engage. The wings rotate aft to 67.5 degrees, drag drops to 0. 4 General Electric turbofans kick into afterburner, producing 120,000 pounds of raw thrust. The bomber stopped being a bomber, it becomes a supersonic pathfinder. It doesn't just engage the enemy, it erases the grid square they are standing on. At treetop level, we weaponize the ears. The 161st Special Operations Aviation Regiment, the Night Stalkers, engineered a brilliant lie. Why did they reject the MH-60M Apache for this mission? The answer lies in acoustic physics. The Apache's rotor slap creates a distinct, aggressive frequency. It screams attack. It triggers an immediate defensive calculation in the enemy's brain. So they engineered a deception. Enter the MH-60M DAP, direct action penetrator. Externally, it is identical to a standard Black Hawk. To the human ear, the acoustic wave signals a logistics or medical flight. The enemy brain classifies the sound as a non-threat. That classification is a fatal error. Inside, the troop seats are gone, replaced by a 30mm chain gun and Hellfire missiles. By the time the audio lie is processed, the visual truth is a heavy gunship at your door. We didn't just weaponize the aircraft, we weaponized the enemy's expectations. 0417 hours. The prisoner is secured. Flex cuffs, black hood, 2 operators maintaining physical control. Now the extraction vehicle arrives, the MH-60M Chinook. Why this specific airframe? One word: redundancy. Twin tandem rotors, twin Honeywell engines, dual hydraulic loops. This machine was designed to absorb punishment and keep flying. The flight profile? Nap of the Earth. 50 feet above the moving waves at 170 knots. In total darkness, with no horizon, how do you fly that low without crashing? You don't trust your eyes, you trust the math. The pilots rely on the terrain-following radar, scanning the ocean surface 30 times a second. Human reflexes are too slow. The algorithm is what keeps them alive. At this altitude, physics becomes our ally. Ground-based radar cannot distinguish the helicopter from the sea clutter. The destination? The USS Iwo Jima, a 40,000-ton sea base. Total time on deck, 93 seconds. The math checks out. Mission success. Success did not come from luck. It came from systemic overmatch. When 150 machines operate in perfect synchronization, they cease to be individual platforms. They become an invincible equation. This operation proved a fundamental principle. When American engineering meets tactical necessity, distance becomes irrelevant. Consider this. Before a single engine started tonight, this mission had already been flown 5,000 times inside the joint simulation environment. We knew the outcome before the wheels left the runway. Tonight was not a gamble. It was just the final render. At Naval Tide, we don't just watch the machine, we analyze the math that makes it run. The system is the weapon. The math has been run. The variables have been calculated. The equation is solved. If you want to stay ahead of the curve in naval technology, subscribe now and ride the tide. Until next time, stay vigilant.